Good morning, everybody. 9 years ago this week, we did our very first Taking Action Against Domestic Violence campaign. The launch date was March 23rd, 2009. That first year, we leaned heavily on the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence in Tallahassee to convince local DV centers to work with us. And it was CASA in St. Petersburg that convinced us to build the campaign around the statewide domestic violence hotline. The CEO of CASA at the time, the legendary Linda Osmondson, telling me quite firmly that when seconds count, you've got to give victims one number to call. Victims shouldn't be fishing around for the phone number to the shelter in their county, she said. It would be the first of many lessons that we learned from our local advocates, and so we're delighted to have in the studio with us our friends from CASA to help us mark this occasion. We are joined by CASA's CEO now, Lariana Forsyth, and also by Galen Thurman, who is the chairwoman of the board of directors and longtime friend of Linda Osmondson. Thank you, ladies, for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Lariana, real quickly, we've been looking at what's happening in Riverview with that breaking news story. Neighbors starting to say they may have heard something.
Yes.
What's your advice to viewers who may be watching this and thinking, well, I've heard something maybe happening in my neighborhood. What should they do?
You know, domestic violence is a very difficult subject, but if you hear something, if you're alarmed by something, pay attention and call 911. Also, please, if you think that there's somebody in a situation where they need help, invite them and share information on how to call the FCADV hotline.
Yeah, don't wait for somebody else to do it. Galen, we've been talking about Linda Osmondson. She was such a character. She was the one that said, you know, you should build this around the statewide domestic violence hotline. And you weren't surprised to hear me tell that story.
No, Linda had such a keen awareness. You think about your media and the density of where you reach. And why should someone in Sarasota be having to scroll through numbers of St. Pete or Pasco to find the services that they need? So her goal was to make it so broad, to make it so local that everybody would have an ability to find their organization and get the services that they need locally.
So it's a great conversation that we are going to continue after the break, but for now we're going to go to break. Thanks.